So let's just set the scene. I'm 24 years old. I've just come back from living in Toronto for 2 years, lived this whole different world. I get back, I see this film that I missed out on called War Dogs.
Yo, hold up, yo. Come on, where's everybody going? Thought we're gonna hang out.
And there's this character played by Bradley Cooper called Henry Girard. Now, I grew up saying to you guys that I was inspired at 14 years old by James Bond, Casino Royale.
I'm sorry. That last hand nearly killed me.
If it wasn't for that movie, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have followed that path. I wouldn't have started any of the businesses that I did. I wouldn't have gone into the self-improvement space and tried to become who I am today. However, after watching War Dogs and seeing Henry Girard, there was something different about the way he was living. It was the first time I'd ever seen anybody talk about America being a shithole.
Flight leaves tomorrow morning at 10. I can't spend more than 48 hours in this dump.
That's what I always say, Vegas is a 2-day town.
I was talking about America.
America being a place that he couldn't wait to get out of, and he couldn't wait to go to Albania and take the guys to Albania. And there was just part of me that was like, what is this? This is so different. This is so strange. This isn't James Bond in the Caribbean. This is James Bond in Montenegro. That was the dirty, dingy sides of James Bond that I guess I enjoyed more, and I didn't realize. It was never about the suits, the glitz and the glamour. It was more about going to the frontier places of the world and just figuring out new areas and exploring as much as you could. And that's when I realized what the difference was between Henry Girard and traditional James Bond, and the difference between Montenegro and all the other places that James Bond goes to. It wasn't that I wanted to be James Bond anymore. I was 24 years old. I wanted to be a Bond villain.
Oh, Mr. Bond.
So, welcome to the Henry Girard lifestyle. Now, for you guys who aren't familiar, go and watch the film War Dogs. It's an incredible film. You'll enjoy it. If you've already seen it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You'll know exactly what I'm trying to tap into here. Now, to kick this off, one thing we need to explore is propaganda. So when you're growing up, you get told North Korea, Russia, etc., and China, there's so much propaganda, and they're terrible places to live and all this stuff. But as you get older, you start to realize that a lot of these people are actually the good guys. The good guys tend to be the bad guys, and the bad guys tend to be the good guys. You know, as they say, history is written by the winners. It makes a lot of sense. And one thing that I found over the years is made in China. Every movie, made in China. No wonder it broke.
Figures? Made in China? It's a piece of China fucking crap! I fucking told you to get a gas power one, not some fucking piece of electric China crap!
Listen, don't buy the cheap made in China multi-tool.
No wonder this circuit failed. It says made in Japan.
What do you mean, Doc?
You go to shoot the gun, doesn't work, and it goes made in China. Typical. And then they pick up the American gun or whatever, and it works. Everything I've ever ordered from China is exceptional. It's so much better. Like, any car that I've ever been in or driven or whatnot from China doesn't break down, and it's half the cost. I got my pool heater from China. Apparently it's exceptional. I got it for 1.8k. It was 9k in Spain. 9k for the same pool heater that I got for 1.8k. Do you know the difference? They stuck a sticker on it. The people in China even told me, do you want to put a sticker on it? And I said, there's no reason. Oh, aren't you going to sell it on? I was like, no, it's for me. And he went, oh, okay. So then I searched every company that had that same pool heater, 9k. They've obviously ordered it in, put their own sticker on it, and then sending it out. It doesn't matter where you're from, in Europe, America, Canada, wherever, you think it's the best country in the world. Now, that's changing now. That is changing, but for the last 30, 40, 50 years, we all got hit with mass propaganda and told that it's the greatest place on earth. America's the greatest country. The UK, there's a reason it's Great Britain. Move to Australia, Australia's the best country because it has this and that. Wherever you're from, you tend to think it's the center of the universe and it's the best country ever. This is propaganda. And that's when you realize we're the ones who are getting hit with the propaganda. And I'll tell you why. Because since starting O&M, I've done a lot of world travel. And I used to say things like, Bali, it'll be shit, it'll be whatever, it'll be filthy, it'll be whatnot. I've been there twice now, and would I live there? No, but it's phenomenal. The gyms are the best in the world. Is the food the best in the world? No, but is it very good? Yes, it's phenomenal. The furniture, best in the world? Yes. Don't care what anybody says. I am a furniture fiend. I love furniture. Bali, best in the world. Nothing comes close. They make the best furniture by far. Tables that are about that thick, the highest quality. It's just getting them back over here would be impossible, but the best furniture I have ever seen. The best quality. You know, some of the build qualities out there are unbelievable. People shit on them, but they're not. They're amazing. And then I would go over to Marrakesh with the guys for an O&M trip. Everybody's rich. Everybody's rich. We go to the Hivenage area. Everyone's rich. And they're all... You know, all the women are in short dresses, crazy bodies. We're up at Nobu on the top of the rooftop. There's this sky blue pool, beautiful women everywhere, loads of money being exchanged. People just smoking on shisha, just wearing designer clothes, Ferraris pulling up, people going to clubs, casinos. And I was like, what's all this about? Because I remember being 34 years old nearly. I remember when we used to raise money for charities. We used to do comic relief in the UK. We used to do, you know, all these CAFOD events and whatnot and raise things for children and whatever. I remember in some of these videos them saying, like, we're in Morocco today and this kid can't eat. Bollocks. Absolute bullshit. Now, there's poor people everywhere, but it's complete bollocks. My girlfriend is Moroccan. She went there recently. She lived in another area. I won't tell you where. But she comes back, sends me all these, shows me all these photos and whatnot. I look through them and she goes, yeah, it's amazing. Customer service is even better. The coffees are better. She was like, all my friends from school have got 2 or 3 houses that they own. Everybody's doing well for themselves. And you see it and you go, this is strange. This is different. I took a trip to Montenegro this year with O&M. Unbelievable. Yes, there's a road that hasn't been repaired in 12 years. They're still working on it, maybe even longer. But then you get the casino, then you get the modern hotels, then you get the beachside hotel that's being constructed. You get, you know, the people, the coffees, the cafes, the restaurants and stuff like that. And you go to the Bay of Kotor and you walk around and you go, yeah, this might actually be better than the UK. Now, is it better than London? No, but if you look at the statistics for the UK, outside of London and the southwest, so kind of the Cotswolds area, which is a very wealthy area.
London is very, very rich. But the rest of the UK? Not so much. In fact, citizens of the once proud United Kingdom have less disposable income than the poorest 5 US states and the average OECD country. And if you remove London and the southeast from the equation, the UK's GDP per capita drops 14%. Life expectancy in parts of Blackpool are lower than in Rwanda, and entire cities and towns that once thrived now rank among the poorest in Western Europe. The UK has gone from the greatest kingdom on earth to squalor.
The UK, the rest of it is all below average in terms of what the average is set for the UK. They actually have less money than most third world countries. They're struggling more than a lot of third world countries. The UK minus London and the Cotswolds is third world. If you ever travel to different places around the UK, you will realise everywhere is a shithole. When you go to some of these towns, these seaside towns and whatnot, everybody's on drugs, getting drunk all day, walking around, a bunch of chavs everywhere. It's a shithole. And you get hit with this propaganda of it's the best place in the world. Which brings me back to my point with Henry Girard. When he sat there in the casino in Las Vegas, and he says, okay, good, because I can't wait to get out of this shithole. And Jonah Hill's character turns to him, Efren Differoli, I think, and he says, I've always said it, because I couldn't agree more, I've always said it, Vegas is a 2-3 day town. And Bradley Cooper's character leans in and whispers, I was talking about America. And I love that scene. It did something to me. It hit me. And I was like, yeah, I didn't understand it when I was 24, but as time's gone on, I really understand it. Like I've publicly said before that I think America is a third world country outside of, I think Miami, New York, I mean LA's going there now. You know, you got San Francisco, but even that's going there now. It's just like, most of it's third world. You look at places like Philadelphia, you look at places like Detroit, or at least how it used to be, but a lot of it's third world. It's terrible. People are worse off than they would be living in a Montenegro or in Albania or whatnot. And I see places like Albania. I see places like Vlor or Casimir or Sarande. And there's massive, massive hotels being built there. I'm looking into properties there. I went to Budapest. I walk around. People have got an unbelievable quality of life. Some of the clubs, the restaurants, the rooftop bars, and people are driving around in expensive cars. This is what pisses me off. This is what captures the Henry Girard lifestyle. Is we were in Budapest, and you get guys driving around in big 110 Defenders, in G-Wagons, and they're getting out, nice coat on, well-dressed, in shape, handsome dude, nice haircut, whatever, and you think, okay, he's had a haircut, he's got brand new clothes, he's got a brand new car, he's in shape, obviously there's a gym nearby, and he's going into an expensive restaurant, and he's got a beautiful supermodel on his arm. And you're like, isn't that the life that we all wanted? Isn't that the exact life that we all wanted to chase? And you go, yeah, but you can't have it in Budapest, you can't live in Hungary. Why? There's a 10% flat rate on tax. The properties are cheaper. He obviously got this car for cheaper, probably got it from Germany and then just brought it down. And you're just going, are we the ones getting scammed? Are we the ones getting hit by propaganda? And like I said, it takes me back to the Henry Girard speech of like, I was talking about America. And it's not until you travel, it's not until you get out to these other parts of the world that your mind expands. And that's why that film did so much for me. That's why, him saying, we're going to go to Albania. And Jonah Hill's character is like, I'll be honest with you. He was like, I didn't even know it was a place until you just mentioned it. And he was like, it's a lovely country. You're going to love it. It's a beautiful place. And then Miles Teller's character, I can't remember his name now. He says something like, Albania was many things, a beautiful place, not one of them. No, it's actually a lie because that Albania is a beautiful place. It's right next to Greece. It's stunning. It's on the Dalmatian coast. And Trump's daughter, Ivanka, and Jared Kushner are working with Amman Resorts to set up a massive place down there, a massive Amman resort down there in Vlor. New airport's just been built and stuff like that. It's on the come up. The actual bay itself, when you walk around, it's beautiful. Like, it doesn't get much better. They actually filmed that in the back ends of Budapest in an industrial estate. So do you know what I mean? It's very misleading. Very misleading. Like, nothing is, like, it's all propaganda. Because if they actually showed it properly, they'd be like, oh, it's actually really nice. Do you know what I mean? Like, I said to somebody at the airport recently, I had to fly to Albania, and I was like, it's a bit dodgy because all the Albanians in the UK, the gangs and whatnot. She was like, oh yeah, no, in Albania, those people just get kicked out. That's why they're gangsters in the UK. She was like, we wouldn't accept it there. She was like, it just doesn't happen. It's one of the safest places you'll ever go. You'll love it. I go online, have a little search. Everyone's saying the same thing. One of the most beautiful places you'll ever go to. Zero danger, zero fear. And I was like, wow, okay. We've been lied to. We're spending all of this money every year. Why? To live in the place that isn't actually that great. Where the price of a cost of coffee is like £9. Like in London, there's places where you can go where the coffee is £9. On average, if I'm not exaggerating, it's high fives to £6. So about $10 to get a coffee. I've had American O&M members come over to my house and go, how much for coffee? They're like, London's the most expensive place I've ever been in my life. I'm like, I told you. And what do you get in exchange? You're less safe? Do you get a better house? No. Do you have a pool? No. Do you have a rooftop? No. Do you have terrace balconies? No. You can get one. It's going to cost you $3,000 a month. I lived in Canary Wharf. I spent a lot of money. I did not have a terrace balcony. The people opposite did. They were paying $4,000 a month. You have to pay through the eyeballs. I was going to pay 5.6k in Battersea to get a crazy place. 5.6k per month in somewhere like Montenegro. Do you know what that gets you? That gets you a giant villa in Besici Bay, or Besici Beach in the bay, next to the casino area, overlooking the sea, with a boat and a jet ski and a car, with probably $2,000 a month spare. And you just think, why am I bothering? And a lot of you are held back by family ties. I can't leave my family. I can't leave people in the UK. I can't leave whatever. And I watched a video recently by Nomad Capitalist, who I'm a massive fan of. I should go to his show, actually. He's doing a show soon. I can't remember where. Cancun or something like that. He was saying, you have to make the decision. You have to sit down with family and friends or girlfriend or wife or whatever, and you have to say, do you want to do this? And if they say, I couldn't leave my family, you have to make a real decision. Maybe I'm going to leave this person in my life. Maybe I'm going to move on. Because the life that is advertised for you, the propaganda we're getting hit by, is some of the strongest that you will ever see. Because when you actually go around the world and you see all these different places, you actually realize, hey, I'm the one getting scammed. You know, Russia's actually really great. One of the O&M members, Thibaut, who a lot of you guys know, went there recently, said it's one of the best places he's ever been in his life, loved it. He's never felt so safe in his life. 4 of the members stopped off in Belgrade before before they went to Montenegro for the trip. And they were like, yeah, it's brilliant. The women are beautiful. The food's great. We're all just walking around, having fun, felt super safe. One of the members just came back from Poland, said one of the best places he's ever been, thinking about buying an apartment there. We've got Aidan, who was here just the other day, 22 years old, making money online, traveling the world. He's like, I'm never going back ever again. It's just once you do it, once you make that leap of faith and you live that Henry Girard lifestyle, you go, this is a little bit different. And it's because we've had it framed to us all of our lives. You know, it has to be New York, has to be London, has to be all these places, which I'll get to in a minute because that's a tier 1 city issue that I need to bring up. And once you get a little bit darker, a little bit dirtier, a little bit dungy, do you know what I mean? Where you go to these places where you go, I got told this was dangerous, I got told this was whatever. You actually go, this is actually really good. This is actually a great place. I thought it would be shit, but this is phenomenal. Like, this is some of the best houses I've ever seen in my life are in Morocco. You know, some of the best build quality because it's built on an earthquake fault line. But you see some of the houses there, rooftop pools, you know, Bali's the same. Bali and Morocco's houses shit on houses in the US and the UK. Now, there's some crazy ones in the US, but I think they look old. I think the way that they build them in the US, I think especially in Miami, they got old carpets and old furniture, and I think it looks like something from Miami Vice. I think it's too old. It's not gone with the times. I don't think it's very great. And I think if you look at Asia as a whole, it's overtaking everybody. You know, and you look at the rest of the world and you start realizing there's different places, there's different pockets. If you're willing to be nomadic and move around a little bit, you can win. And you can win hard. The quality of life that you can have is a 10x. Do you know the most fun that I've ever had in my life? It's when I'm traveling on my own. When I'm in Budapest the day before the guys and I'm walking around on my own.
Right then, boys, we are here in Budapest and absolutely froze. It's about -3, -4 degrees. Looking kind of beautiful. Also kind of dangerous at night, but they've assured me that it's okay.
And I'm walking across the bridge and I'm exploring and I'm talking to people and I'm sat having a coffee. There's a meme on this. It's like, people don't understand the level of happiness I have just having a coffee on my own in a foreign country and nobody knows I'm there. It's one of my favorite feelings ever, is jumping on a flight, landing somewhere, and just like nobody knows where I am. Like, people could message me and I could say, hey, I'm in Montenegro, and they'd be like, what? Why? Where? Like, how do I even get there? Where even is that? And I love that. You know, just being sat in Budapest on your own in a coffee shop and nobody knows who you are. And it's like 10 o'clock at night and you're just going for a little stroll and you feel safe. And you're just like, God, the possibilities here are crazy. Like, it's like a whole new level of the map has just been unlocked. And it does something to your brain. It unlocks something in your brain. It's the Henry Girard lifestyle. You know, him driving around in an expensive car and just being in a foreign land and nobody knows where he is. He's just kind of got these little safe houses pocketed around the world and doesn't have to be anything expensive. It's just like these little flats that just look good with a nice view in a nice area of the world. And he's maybe, you know, he's in Albania with a beautiful Albanian woman. He's speaking Albanian. Like, that was what self-improvement was all about, right? That's why we all started. That's why we all got inspired in the first place. Surely. So then it brings me on to my second topic. What the fuck happened to tier 1 cities? Now, you look at places like New York, it's got more billionaires than anywhere. And then second, I think, is London and Tokyo and places like this. Which is fine because they're billionaires, they can get away with it, and that's where most of the business is done. But if you look at, you know, I'm not a massive fan of the Tates. I never have been. I found out about some of the, you know, 14, 15-year-old girl stuff years ago, and I went off them big time. Used to like Tristan, and then found out he was doing the same shit. And I just kind of shied away from it and didn't want anything to do with it. But if you look at what they've done, going over to Romania, setting up in a foreign place, setting up in, I believe they were in Bucharest. And they, you know, they set up their lives over there and they have everything for cheap. Sorry, I just got a helicopter coming over. They have everything for cheap over there. If you look at the original house that they had with the shitty pool, the indoor pool, the shitty gym that they had inside, and it was like a converted shed, warehouse, loft place. And they put loads of money in since, but they kind of had like one supercar and they were just going out for coffees. There's like old interviews of them like sat in the snow with a big coat on outside a coffee shop, just sat there just getting interviewed by somebody like a Romanian reporter. And you're like, yes, the rawness. That's what captured everybody. That's what drew everybody in. It's the rawness of it. I think the whole moving to Miami and whatnot destroyed the brand. I think they should have just like stayed low key and just kind of, you don't have to be so flashy. It's the Bond villain thing. You don't have to be like, hey, here's me, and brag about it and talk about it, and they self-snitched on themselves. I think it was more romantic when it was just, hey, it's just me and my bro in an Eastern European country, and we've just got a fucking sick life, and we could just do this forever. This is so much better than what we had. That is what I think everyone's capturing. The reason I think it works is because tier 3, which is what we're going to get onto now, tier 3 cities, they give you an advantage that tier 1 cities used to give you. So I used to promote tier 1 cities like crazy, the New Yorks, the Londons, whatever. I used to say you have to be there. I still think that to an element, but it's fading. I think the world is flipping on its head. I think, there's a pole shift on the planet. They always say that the poles shift every 16,000 years or some shit. I don't know what it is. And I think the same happens with planet Earth. I think with the countries and whatnot. I think the dominant countries, I think everything does that. I think everything flips on its head. And if you look back at history, that has happened a few times. The dominant dynasties are now broke. You think of the Greeks, you think of the Romans. You wouldn't put Italy and Greece at the top of the world now. You look at the Mongol Empire and the Huns and stuff like that, and they're nowhere near the top now, like some of the poorest people in the world. But Genghis Khan even had universities and exchanges of knowledge around the world. You had the Silk Road and all these trading routes, and you had caravanserais, which was the original hotels, the Persian Empire. It's just that everything does that. And then something new forms on top of it. And I think we get this all the time. I think things get swapped out, and I think that tier 3 cities are starting to replace tier 1 cities because of the changes that have happened in the world. Now, I told you guys tier 2 cities originally. It's dropped down to tier 3. And the thing about tier 1s is you had all the opportunities there. You had the biggest money there. All the most beautiful women moved there. All the best cafes, restaurants, etc. But what is the point? Because this is what's changed. This is what's flipped. What's the point in being in these places if the taxes are sky high, number one? So you're making more money, but you're keeping less. What's the point if the rents have gone stupidly high? If the house prices have gone stupidly high? What's the point in making 80k per year, 100k per year, if the price of a coffee is $10 or £6 or whatever? What's the point? You're going to run out of money so quickly. Your money doesn't go far enough. As Nomad Capitalist always says, go to where you're treated best. I would double that up and say, go to where you can maximize your life. That's what I'd say. How can you maximize your life setup? Go to where you're treated best and where you can max out your life. What's the point in moving somewhere where you can barely afford rent when you could live somewhere where you could have a jet ski, a boat, and, a beautiful 21-year-old girlfriend? Versus being in somewhere like London and you're just getting propagandas and you're going on a date with a 30-year-old woman and she's shouting at you for liking younger women and being a creep and whatnot. Or you go and date a woman in somewhere like Montenegro and she's going, yeah, look, I'm 21, I'm just looking for a husband, I just want to settle down with somebody. I think the man should be older, should be successful, should have money, should take care of me. And you're like, oh shit, this is completely different. Why would you live in a tier 1 city now when the crime has gone through the roof? When there's immigrants that are allowed to live there for free. So I'm paying $2,800 per month when I was living in Canary Wharf. They moved loads of criminals, 300 criminals in opposite me. And then eventually it rose to 500 in a hotel. Every day I have riots, I have criminals. That's a big reason why I left. 2 people, one woman nearly got raped. I think one woman did get raped. They were just running around stealing stuff, smoking weed all day, smashing shit up, fishing where it says no fishing. No, nobody's doing anything about it. So why would you pay the extortionate fees and have a worse life just to live there? And now here's the big one. Tier 1 cities were amazing when everyone else lived there. We were all in it together. I always said to you guys, Sweden doesn't have the most beautiful Swedish women. The most beautiful Swedish women live in New York, London, etc., which is true. But it's changing because they can't afford it. Every beautiful woman I knew that lived in a tier 1 city moved out because they said it just became too expensive and they lived with 6 other friends. They were flat sharing. So what do? They move up to places like Manchester, or they move out of London to areas on the outskirts. It is still London, but like Royal Wharf. But that's the people who are making good money. And then they move to other countries. They start going further afield. They start going to places like Bali and moving away because they know that they can get more for their lifestyle. So as that happens, what happens to the tier 1 cities? The actual culture that made it what it is, because people argue, oh, immigration gives you culture. No, old immigration gave us culture. New immigration just gives us criminals. So as those people leave, the culture actually dies. The culture actually fades. And it's not until you travel and go to these other places that you realize, oh, the people here are nicer. The people want to take care of each other. Like, you will leave something here in Spain and somebody will grab it and come and give it to you. They'll say, oh, here, like you left this on your seat. And you're like, that was a pair of £400 Prada sunglasses and somebody just came and gave them to me. You're like, that's incredible. That would have been gone in the UK in 2 minutes. And like my camera guy was in London, left his camera on the floor for 3 minutes, gone, completely gone. When we were in any other part of the world where we were filming, could have left it, it wouldn't have been touched. It's crazy to me. So why has tier 3 become the winning strategy? Because I think tier 2s have got tier 1 pricing. That's the problem. Tier 2s used to be amazing, but now they've got tier 1 pricing. Everything's going up. They've got the pricing and the living costs and the taxes of tier 1 cities, but the quality is worse than tier 1. So it's just like, what's the point? So then you drop it down to tier 3. And what do I mean by tier 3? So by tier 3, I mean places like Budva. I mean places like, I would probably say Budapest as well. I mean, you know, places like Vlor in Albania, probably teetering on tier 4 right now, but it's about to bridge into tier 3 and it's a good time to get in. I'm talking about places like the Panamas and the Paraguays and whatever. You know, the world's about to flip. It's about to exchange. It's about to go through a new kind of renaissance period where these tier 3s are your biggest opportunity as a man to get ahead and succeed and win. Because you're going to have unspoilt women who haven't been ran through a 20-year educational program of feminism. You're about to, you're going to go into an area where the house prices are affordable, so you can have an amazing life setup. You know, you're going to be able to go and get a coffee for €1 or 2, which is incredible. You're going to be able to get, I'm in Abu Dhabi recently and I was like, why does everyone just drive everywhere? And they were like, well, it's too hot, it's whatever. And they were like, also, the price of gas, fuel, whatever, is dirt cheap. They're like, it's so cheap you would not believe it. And I'm thinking, so all these people that get paid by the state, all these people that are multimillionaires, that have got family wealth that's been kept in the family so long, are paying less for fuel than we were when I was in the UK. I'm just like, how does that work? You're walking around, you're safe, the customer service is A1. And yeah, look, that's not a tier 3 city, but you get my point. You get my point of like how many different areas of the world have this ability. How many different areas that we've traveled to with O&M where we've gone, wow, I could live here. I thought this was going to be a shithole. I could actually live here. Like I could live in Belgrade. The amount of guys that want to live in Poland right now. You've got to look for these tier 3 cities. And I made a video on tier 3 cities in the free school communities, so go and check it out. The link's below. And then I went into depth of detail in the life setup section of the paid community on school, which is O&M Work. Go and check that out. There's 250 course videos in there. But the tier 3 video is in the free one on day 1 as you first go in. So go and check it out. It's an extension of this kind of, so to speak. But, I think tier 3 is the future because it gives you a major opportunity. It allows you to have spare money. It allows you to have better life setup. Access, in my opinion, to better women. I think you can, live in a part of the world where people are, oh, you want to live there? And you're like, you have no idea. This is what you want. This is kind of how you want people to react. It's like, really? You don't want to be in the UK, the best country in the world? Really? You're going to leave the US, the best country in the world? Really? You're going to leave Italy, the best country in the world? You're really going to leave Paris? It's the best place in the world. And you go, yeah, no, I think you guys have absolutely no idea what is out there and how good quality of life can actually be. Like, I would rather be on like a jet ski cruising around Basici Beach and just cruising over to Budva and just getting some food and coffee, doing some work on a laptop and just, living my lifestyle in a nice apartment that overlooks the sea and whatnot, eating good food for cheap with a good group of people. Watching a place come up and be safe and, get developed and improve and the shopping's getting better and everything's improving. Everyone around you has decent cars and decent life and spare money. I'd rather have that than be in a place where, forget the weather because everyone always mentions the weather, but I'd rather be there than in a place where everyone's bitching and moaning all day. Everyone's jealous of each other. You start making money and everyone gets annoyed and people start shitting on you and saying that, he must be cheating, he must be doing this, he must be doing that, it's all right for you, and they distance themselves, and they say, oh, here's old moneybags Bill Gates. there's a culture of crabs in the bucket. And you realize when you go to a tier 3, it gives you that Tate opportunity. It really does. As much as I don't like these guys, I don't want to promote them, what they did worked. Because it allowed them to get out of an expensive area, go to a cheaper area, and have this 10-year base where they were able to build. And I don't think it's any coincidence that when they actually went out there, things started to skyrocket for them. Because they were able to then put that money to good use, build this kind of empire that they had, you know, have the supercars, the lifestyle, play the Bond villains, and that's when they go viral. Now, I'm not saying that's everyone's strategy is to build a personal brand, go viral. I'm just saying it's your personal quality of life. Every guy that's in Onem, I mean, we've got guys in Lithuania that are like, oh, Lithuania's amazing. It's even better than Grenada. It's incredible. They're like, you should move out here. It's amazing. It's the best place I've ever been. And like, you hear this about every single fucking place. Every single place that you get told, like you'd make a joke, right, when you were younger. Do you know what I mean? You'd make a joke and you'd go, oh, mate, where'd you get that phone? Fucking Romania. Whereas now it's like, yeah, I did, and it's way better than what you have. You know, or you go, oh, some guy in, you know, oh, this guy in Lithuania, like, oh, what, driving around in a shit car with 3 wheels and the door falling off. You know, move to Romania, mate, and drive around in a horse and wagon. And you go, like, everyone there has supercars. Everyone's driving around in fucking Lamborghinis. Everyone's driving around in 110 Defenders and Range Rovers. And you go, I actually went to the guy's house. It's fucking huge. It shocked me when I went to Budapest. And I said to this guy, I was like, how old are you? He's like 35 and whatnot. We got chatting. I was like, how do you afford this house? I was like, because apparently the wages, I was like, without being disrespectful, the wages are really low. And he was like, yeah, but the cost of living's really low. He was like, people like you come over from the UK. He was like, you give me 2-3 grand for the week for this place. I think it was 3.1, that place. And it was the first one we ever did. It was the cheapest one. And he goes, so I keep basically all of that. He was like, this house is bought and paid for. He was like, my dad dies, I inherited like 80k. He was like, that's enough money to get this place. I'm like, 80k for this place? This is insane. And he was like, yeah, and then I just rent it out to groups and whatnot. He goes, I got 4 of these and I live down by the river. He was like, I have a lovely life down by the modern area and the river. He was like, my house is modern and beautiful. I have a wife, I have kids. He was like, we just go for a walk every morning. I grab a coffee, grab some food, see my parents. I was like, to see his mum. And I was just like, what? I was like, we all got told that you were third world and you were broke and he was like, yeah, no. And they all laugh about it. Like I have this debate with my girlfriend every now and then. I'm like, we used to send money to you. And she laughs and goes, yeah, no, I know. We've always had money. It's not a problem. There's this mass propaganda. And this is why like tier 3 is the weapon. And if you don't click over the next like 10 years, you're going to get fucked. Because tier 3 cities are the future. And the reason I mentioned the video earlier on tier 3 is because I've actually done tier 3 criteria inside the course. And I've actually broken down what that consists of and what that looks like, so you guys can go and find your own tier 3s. Like I've got friends inside Onem that talk about Zagreb, and I look at Zagreb, and I did a video on this before they mentioned it. The location of Zagreb is maybe the best in the world. You can get to Budapest, you can get to, it's not that far from, you can get to Rome, you can definitely get to Milan, Turin, you got the Dolomites, you got Switzerland, you got Zurich, you got Lausanne and all the places up there. You've got, you know, the amazing skiing that you can do. I'm just trying to work my way around the map. You've got, obviously, the Dalmatian coast. You can go down to the rest of Croatia, like Hvar, Split. You can then go into Montenegro. It's easy to get through the border. We've done it twice, there and back. And you just queue for a little bit, and then you go down to Albania. Like, the life setup that you have by living in that region of the world is next level. And then he tells me, Zagreb's amazing. It's phenomenal. He was like, there's beautiful women everywhere. He was like, they'll all, you know, open conversations with you. The gyms are great. The food's great. And I'm just like, and he was like, the weather's pretty good. He was like, even in winter, it's like 18 and sunny. And I'm sat there going, when did this happen? When did this become a thing? When did this all change? And it's not until, you know, I did Onem and started traveling the world that I realized, oh, we've been lied to. This propaganda is real. And it brings me back to the Henry Girard lifestyle. Like, way back then when I'm watching that movie, and that movie's based on years before that, like 20 years before that, and you'll think, or maybe 10 years before that, and you're thinking, there's this guy from Switzerland, he was a Swiss banker, who had all this money from, you know, dealing arms, which obviously isn't great. I'm not encouraging you guys to do that. But he was just driving around in these untouched parts of the world back then, just going from place to place, just having all these unique experiences, meeting all of these different people, realizing how much bigger and better the world is. And then when he comes back to the US and stuff like that, he's going, oh, disgusting. All those years ago. And it's that Bond villain lifestyle. You look at the Bond villains. Where did they live? They never lived in like a mansion in LA and stuff like that. They were always in places like, you know, Bosnia or whatever. Or like they were, you know, it was like the old Yugoslavia. They were always from like a dark part of Russia, like middle of nowhere. And it was like, oh, he's pitched up in Panama. He's got like a house in the jungle and whatnot. And you know, you look at it and you're like, why? And it's like, because they're smarter than James Bond. It's the Bond villain. The Bond villain is what you actually want to be. The Bond villain is the guy who's figured it all out, who's gone and got the safe houses all around the world. And it ties into Born on a Budget, as I told you guys before. Instead of going and getting, you know, one big mortgage in a country that taxes the bollocks off you and then puts the price of living at 1,000% and makes your life a living hell, and you're just a mortgage slave, just paying that every month, going to a job that you hate in the rain. Said I wouldn't mention it, but I actually quite like the rain. It's like 47 degrees right now. It's unbearable. But when you look at that and you realize, like, that's no way to live. You're trapped. You've now got an ankle bracelet and it's your house, which is like a tag with them. They don't let you go out. They don't let you go anywhere because you're now attached to this house. You have this massive bill that you're going to keep forever. Whereas if you go and get like a little apartment in Vlor, Casimir on the beach in Albania, and then you go and get a little one, I don't know, in like, you go and get a little one in like Budva. And then you go, do you know what, I'm going to get one in Belgrade as well. Do you know what, I'm just going to get a little house in Zagreb. And I'm just going to drive up every now and then and just go skiing in the Dolomites or whatever. I'm just going to pop over to Milan and, you know, have a few weekends there, or Turin or whatever, like wherever you want to go. You know, you could drive down to Portofino. Once you start figuring this out and you start realizing like how close it is to other places and you're not tied to one location, when you realize that, you know, Romania, for example, is not that far away from the Middle East, you realize it's like a nice little go-between. When you realize that you could actually live in somewhere like Abu Dhabi and then just have a really nice car and just drive down to Dubai and go and have some fun every now and then. It's what I said to you guys years ago about Sharjah. Do you remember that? And now it's super expensive. It's only 20 minutes away from Dubai. And I remember telling you guys years ago, like, you should all live in Sharjah. I was like, it'll be so cheap. It'll be amazing. We should all move there. Didn't act on it. And then bang, all the house prices there are through the fucking roof. And a lot of people are using that strategy of living there and just driving 20 minutes to Dubai, to the center. I think people are going to start doing the same with Abu Dhabi. Because boring, but it's got everything you ever need. And you could just be there working, lock in, get in the car, drive down, go and have some fun. You know, spend the night in a hotel, enjoy yourself like you would with London, just drive back. It just gives you multiple life setup locations. But I think tier 3s are the future. I don't think anybody's really looking into it, tapping into it. There's less rules. I mean, I was looking into leasing rules in Montenegro and they were like, they haven't been written yet. They're just piggybacking off what America has done, but they write custom leasing laws based on what you need. And I was like, that's what you want. That's what you want to hear. Flexibility, something that can match my use case. And then you start looking at properties there and stuff that you can get your hands on. It's like, oh my God, this is so cheap. You're like, what an opportunity to grow. And I look at the guy, Adrian Zilka, I believe his name was, who started Amman Resorts. He started the first few locations in Southeast Asia. And you go, yeah, because what an opportunity. Like, he could not have done that in Miami, New York, LA, whatever. He had to start in a smaller place that had less money, had major opportunities, and that's what tier 3 offers to you guys. Tier 3 has enough infrastructure for you to have the old school 1980s, 1990s lifestyle, whilst allowing you to actually grow and gives you a fucking chance. But look at this for a lifestyle, man. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. I actually think that's Kotor. Yeah, that's Kotor. We actually went there. Look how beautiful that is. But you've got... I believe this is Basici Beach. I'm not 100% sure because it's not showing the right pictures here. But it's absolutely incredible. Here we go. This is it. Like, look how crazy this is. There's cranes everywhere. These are all being built. There's all new buildings. These are all like kind of empty shells that are being worked on. There's more popping up non-stop. There was this massive beach here. It goes around the corner. There's another massive beach. The house that we had was either like there, or like up here somewhere. I can't remember. But it's just unbelievable you can have. Like, the people had like boats parked up here and like jet skis and stuff, and they just had such a good lifestyle. And you guys have seen the drone shots. I might overlay them in this edit. It was just absolutely ridiculous. Like, people are just living like absolute kings. Like, when we got on the speedboats and stuff for the day, like, per person, it cost like peanuts. It was absolutely nothing. And, you know, like, just, I went to Dubrovnik as well, which was just, it was only a day thing, and a lot of people from Croatia just say that Dubrovnik's not that great because it's like a 1-day thing, 2-day thing. But this was just so beautiful, just walking around this area. I know they filmed like Game of Thrones there and stuff. Like, this is the center. Like, it was really cool. It is probably like a 1 or 2 day place, but it was just incredible. Like, some of the restaurants, and I ended up going to that 360 bar. I've actually got the footage. I was there with my camera guy. It's a Michelin star place. I didn't actually realize, but we sat here. Remember when I showed you guys this years ago? I actually sat here at this restaurant and overlooked all of this, and it was incredible. I was saying it was funny because I thought I was going to be with like a beautiful woman when I first made the video, and I ended up being with my camera guy. But it was incredible. The food was so good, and just like sat up here, and just like the lifestyle that you can have and how connected everything is, and the fact it's not that expensive. It's, you know, it wasn't cheap, but it's not that expensive. This is the entrance. It's just kind of the life that you can have. I mean, this place is nearby as well. Like, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. I think that might be the courtyard that went out the back, and then it all came up here. It's one of the best places I've ever eaten at for location and whatnot. I'll bring up the footage for you guys. The staff are incredible. They were such nice people. But what I want to show you guys is let's go into property. Go away. Let's go into properties for selling. But it already knows me. So this must be like a new company that's selling and stuff. You just look at this, like, there's probably going to be some expensive ones on here. Yeah, of course there always is. But like, look at this, 249k for like a new development, right? You could, hey, less of that. How can you get for 249,000 euros a nice? People go, oh, but it's just going to be a studio. Does it matter when you have these level of facilities? Like at Royal View Resort and Spa. So you're going to have a spa you can use. It's basically a massive resort that you can use every day. And I mean, we don't really have to go into detail, but like, I want to buy this place for Onem, I really do. But it's also kind of pointless because we're going bigger than that. But look, penthouse with a large roof terrace, 650,000 euros. Now that's still expensive, but there's so many ones on here that are cheap, like this place that I just showed you. Like, it's not huge, but this is the problem with old school life, is we're paying for like, I've got this giant house, and you go, great, you're going to sit in the giant house and do what? I'm going to watch TV, and you're like, you could do that in a small house. I'm going to fuck beautiful women. You could do that in a small house. And any woman who wants to be in a big house probably isn't the woman for you. Do you see my point? It's like, there's no benefit. It's like, I need a supercar. Why? So I can get from A to B. You can do that in any car. Yeah, but I want to look good. You can do that in an average Mercedes or like cheap BMW X2. Yeah, but I want to be a super baller. Why? So I can outdo everybody. It's like, it's pointless, man. Like, everyone's doing this pointless shit now. It's so stupid. But you will find, like, I have not even planned this, not even prepped this, but like that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, on paper, I'm a multi-millionaire. I think that's phenomenal. Like, what I mean by that is I obviously have high standards and money to spare. I'd live here. 175,000 euros. I'd live there. If the location's good, like, guys, that's beautiful. 1,200 meters to the sea, that's a nice walk. I think that's, you know, I jog that every morning and back. I think that'd be cool. You got somewhere to eat, somewhere to watch TV, sleep, a little balcony, I guess. You know, TV in the bedroom if you wanted it. Probably, obviously, you can have a bathroom and whatever. What more do you need? Like, you can have all these little safe houses around the world, is the point I'm trying to make to you guys. Like, for example, you know, Rightmove's not ideal because they're going to put UK prices on top of these things, but if you just go like max price, something that everybody in the world can eventually afford, like $250,000 for a house, I'm sorry, I'd live here. I would 100% live here. Look at this. That just needs a little bit of elbow grease, like 603 square feet. Like the furniture's shitty and old. Probably got to keep a few of these things in there, but like you get rid of that. You could redo the windows. They probably wouldn't let you because it's a listed building, but like the old actually looks pretty good. But you just do the floor is beautiful. Look at that. But you just get rid of this old furniture. You put some modern stuff in there. Ends up looking like a hotel room. You know, get rid of that. Put something better up on the wall. You got the old TV in there, the old table, like the old kitchen. You just put a little bit of money into it. This place is going to be fantastic. And now you're going to have a little safe house in Budapest, in a decent location. There's the first house that we saw. This is ridiculous. 250,000. The other place was about £150,000. So for about 400,000, you've now got two houses, mortgage paid off. You're renting one out when you're not living in the other one. Maybe you list it on Airbnb. Maybe you just rent it out somehow. I don't know how you would do it. Maybe you just have both and a remote job and you just travel between the two and have the time of your life. And then maybe there's somewhere in between. So you got Budva, you got Budapest. Maybe you stop off in Zagreb and you got a little life there as well. Like, do you guys see what I mean? I actually dealt with these guys before. Leo Hunt, super professional. Huge amount of knowledge. If you ever want to go with anybody, use these guys, because I spoke to them for hours and they were happy to help me. So, but yeah, like these little safe houses around the world, I don't know why people don't do it. And put it this way, if you go, yeah, but I've got a missus and she said unless we buy a £2 million house in Miami, she's not going to stay with me, get rid of her. Like, if she doesn't want to live this lifestyle and just travel around, like, because for me, house worth 250k, little apartment, okay, yeah, whatever. Whatever, it's just a little base. We just get our head down, we put the TV on, we watch something, we grab a little bit of food and a coffee, it's cold outside, never mind. Hat on, gloves on, go for a walk, stroll around, say hello to some people, hit the gym. The gyms in Budapest were great. We all went. When we did our trip, we were all training, we loved it. The people were fantastic. You know, you got beautiful women everywhere, great cafes, restaurants, loads of shit to do. 2 or 3 of the members actually lived in Budapest when they first joined. And, you know, it's just like, one was a remote camera guy that was making a shit ton of money. So, like, there's nothing, like, you can stay in these places. I mean, it's got a flat rate tax, I believe, of 10%. You know, that I've talked to them about bank accounts over there for a long time, and they said to me, this is effortless, we'll set this up for you, this is how easy it would be. You know, when you buy properties over there, this is what I got told. You, I don't know if I should be giving this away, I should probably give this away in the course. Yeah, I'll put this in the course, I shouldn't be giving this away for free, but there's a trick on properties of how you don't pay any property tax and stuff like that, and that is pretty funny. But they all do it, they all told me about it. I've got stuff in my course about Estonia, American LLCs, that's why it's all in there. The course is free, it's the network that you're paying for, that's why it's only £450 per year. It puts you in the O&M network and you get the course for free. I just want it behind a paywall so that I don't, snitch on myself, Tate style and stuff like that. But look at this is incredible. This is such a good place. Like, scroll down, like, I like that. I mean, it's simple, but I like that for 240. But I think value for money, 248, that's phenomenal. Like, guys, when you actually have a little search around, the shit that you can get, you obviously have to look at a good district and whatnot. District 7, I don't know if that's any good. We've been there, but like I can't remember the exact districts. But it's almost like the Hunger Games over there. It's kind of funny. Like, that's pretty baller. Oh. Like, you make a bid on this. I don't know what the region is, but you make a bid on this. Is this an elevator going into the house? That's cool. Must be the penthouse. So this is the penthouse. Look at it. Look at the potential you can have here. I don't know the area. Could be a shitty area. Might not be. But look at the... here's the thing. You see all this and you go, oh, I'm not living there. You'd be very surprised the community spirit and stuff. You'd be very surprised the quality of life you have. You'd actually find probably the best cafe of your life behind here, just hidden. And you get used to it and you go, it's actually amazing. I'm actually feeling super safe. But look at this, you get this penthouse. It's pretty ridiculous. Like, the stuff that you can get for your money these days in these different areas is phenomenal. I mean, that's very expensive. That is super expensive. I mean, you're talking like baller level there, but how nice is that? Yeah, some of these places have realized that they can get the money out of people now. It's gone up a little bit, but if you just look around and... That does something to me. I know it's expensive, but this does something to me. This is the kind of thing I look for. It's like a little outside garden with a terrace and stuff. It's like a budget New York. Look at this. You just have your barbecue there. I'd have some fire pits out there, some tables. I know it's expensive, but like, it's the potential that I always look at. Like, these grainy photos look AI generated, look super dodgy. But it's just like potential. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I look at. Like, a lot of people say in Panama now, there's a whole house on the beach. Right, so this is pretty expensive, right? 704,000. But if you did this up and modernized it, look at the state of this place next to Panama City. You get a giant house on the ocean, multiple bedrooms. Like, it just needs update. It just needs modernizing. Like, you just have to see the potential of things. But do you know, like, if you just put some elbow grease into this with like 2 or 3 friends, look at this is basically like a Miami setup. You got your pool, you got like the life that you could have out here is next level. Whereas a house like this in Miami would cost you like 12 million. It's a fucking joke. It's just like, why are we bothering? That's a bit dodgy. Let's have a look. What else do we have? Look, that's so like somebody just bought this for 96k. It's probably some American dude who does crypto, who just wants low bills, like low taxes, has just gone out there, bought that. Probably will live there for like 2 weeks per year. Sees it as an investment property, like doesn't really give a shit. Like they're just selling them non-stop. Everyone's doing it 100. I'd live there. Where is that? Oh, it's miles out. It's over here. I don't really know this area of the world. It's next to Mexico though, which would be pretty cool. But you just like look at these properties. Little balcony, like what more do you need, guys? Like, I'm just doing this off the cuff. Like, look at this. This is actually pissing me off. You could bid like 280k and you probably get that, right? Ignore the dodgy blue furniture. Like, this is the one thing you find in these places that they're not good at compared to like the kind of like the kind of like experienced world, so to speak. Like, you go to Paris and the furniture's better. You go to London and somebody's decorated it in a great style. We've got modern furniture and whatnot. Bali's great, to be fair. I do think, like I said, best furniture in the world. But look at this. This is an incredible space. You'd think that was Miami. If you changed that furniture, you'd actually think that was Miami. You could bid 280k and have this. Look at your view. All these skyscrapers, the ocean. You sit there at night, smoke a nice cigar, have a little whiskey and wine, enjoy your lives, come back in, watch a bit of TV if you want with your missus. You know, learn a little bit of Spanish. Look at this, it's just somewhere to work, somewhere to eat. You don't need a lot in this world. Just modernize it, buy a new fridge and maybe change this kitchen counter, just put a little door on there, buy some new shit, whatever. Like, just buy a new bed. Like, you can make this room look amazing. This looks like my Canary Wharf place. I was paying $2,800 per month. This looks like my fucking Canary Wharf place. It pisses me off. It's the same floor that I had in Cheltenham, and it's the same design that I had in Canary Wharf. It's the same view that I had in Canary Wharf. Not two dissimilar beds. Like, do you know what I mean, guys? Like, the amount of potential you have in these places. Oh, it's 2 bedrooms with a massive wardrobe, decent bathroom. I got no problem taking a shit there. Like, just sitting here with your mates, your girlfriend, whatever, business colleague. Like, there's a pool downstairs, a little communal seating area. You're going to meet people. You're going to have a good life, have a little walk on the beach. Oh, and lo and behold, just in the building, we just have this, like, jacuzzi set up. We just have these sun lounges, infinity pool. We just have this area here where you're going to just sit and chill and just, you can host business meetings up there. Yeah, no, but just come and live in Miami, though, and spend $7 million a year and get absolutely gold dug by the biggest whores on the planet with fake lips. Just be my guest and come and do it. I'm getting carried away. This is why I'm getting carried away. You got your little indoor area that looks like a gym through there. I don't know what you guys think. You got a giant jacuzzi. You're probably going to do some live setup and meet some beautiful women there and just have a little chat with them that live in the building. Like, there we go. You got a little gym. Is it much? No, but like, you got everything that you need. Like, I would even be inclined. Here's the things, what you can do when you live in these places. You'd have so much spare money. You could just buy equipment for them. You go, hey guys, I just spent like 2k on a rack of weights and some benches because I just want to use it every day. They're like, why would you do that? Donation. Because you're saving so much money, you can do shit like that. And they have the lowest taxes right now as well. Like, this is what's available to you guys if you actually, like, start realizing, like, what's around the world, what is possible. Like, I didn't realize until kind of O&M and traveling the world and seeing what else was out there and how powerful it was. But these tier 3 cities are the future. I don't know about you guys, but I'm so glad we just found this little gem, because that there is as good as anything I've seen in the world. Like, imagine just swimming around in here, having the time of your life. Me and my friend the other day, like, we got told Buenos Aires was shit because all Argentinians live in Spain. Fair enough. But we did look at some of the properties and we were like, oh my God, it's like a European city in South America. Like, why would you not have a little base there? That looks so good. But look at this. This is, like, imagine just swimming in there, just chilling, coming back, doing a bit of work. on the laptop. I can't get over this picture with this infinity pool. This is nuts. This would be, and you get your own balcony, so you just look over there and just, oh yeah, there's people by the pool. I'm going to go and have a little swim. Maybe I'll go down to the beach. Maybe I'll get a coffee, have some food. You know, imagine waking up with that view every morning. You got a spare bedroom. People can come stay with you. Maybe you turn one of the bedrooms into an office. Makes more sense. You know, you just got, I bet the Wi-Fi is mega quick as well. This is what you always get in these areas of the world. The Wi-Fi is exceptionally fast, which is funny because they built it from scratch. So like in the world that we live in the kind of the modern world, everything is old. So you have to dig up a road to put a fiber optic cable in. Whereas like, this is why Africa is going to be great in about 10, 15 years time, because everything's been built from scratch. It's just like, okay, day one, what should we do? iPhones, high-speed internet. Let's have modern materials being used. Let's use the highest tech in everything that we have. Let's put air conditioning in from day one. And it's like, wait, you've just overtaken us. Yeah, because we just learned from all the mistakes you made over the last 20,000 years. And we just went straight to the top and used what works now. This is why this has never happened before, but tier 3 places are overtaking this. Guys, I might actually buy this. I'm not even taking the piss. I'm actually tempted to call this company. I'm not even joking right now. Let's actually put in a little request. Carlos, request a tool. 308. Is there any extra? 308,000. Guys, that's fucking phenomenal. I'm not even joking right now. I'm not even trying to go viral with a clip. Like, I'm actually, look, you've got 24/7 concierge, air conditioning, barbecue, doorman, fucking doorman. Big fucking British doorman. You ain't coming in. Show me your ID, you cunt. You've got dishwasher. Should I make a woman joke? Not going to do it. I've matured. You've got dining room, electric vehicle charging. I don't have that in the UK. You've got a fitness centre. Furnished. Just get rid of that shit. You've got hot tub. You've got guest suites. Guest suites? What is that? You've got garage, intercom, internet, lift, outdoor pool, which we saw, indoor pool, parking, satellite TV. Well, I'm not going to watch Spanish TV. You've got sauna, security, yoga studio, washing machine, and a valet. What? And Marbella's just there? I'm joking. That's insane. I don't know what you guys think. Environment, residential, calm. Carlos looks like a trustworthy guy. He's going to get so many messages after this. This is funny. Fuck it, man. Let's message this dude. Done. That might be one of the best apartments I've ever seen. They offer like 280 and whatnot. Like, you get that for 280, guys. The live setup you could have there. Speaking Spanish, which, you know, mi español is malo, pero soy aprendiendo. I'm buzzing about that, guys. I'm not even joking. I'm deadly serious about putting a bid in for that. That is phenomenal. So what do I need you guys to do to act on this? What's your next step? You need to travel. You need to go and see the world. You need to go and see what's out there. Because you will not know until you go and see it with your own eyes. You'll think, oh, what's Chris talking about? Until you actually see it and experience it, you go, this is strange. Like the first time I landed in Budapest, I'm on my own, it's late night. And I was like, taxi guy is going to scam me. He doesn't. Okay. I like convert it. Okay, he didn't scam me. I go into a coffee shop. Hey, can I use, I've got no battery and I need Wi-Fi. And I'm like a little bit worried because I can't find my place. And I'm like, shit. And the woman is like, yeah, of course. You know, you get a few weird looks and whatnot. But the woman's like, of course. Like, what food would you like? You know, oh yeah, let me help you. And then somebody walks you where you need to go. The second time I went to Bali, I get to the hotel. It's not real. It's owned by an Australian, which tells you kind of everything you need to know. Nothing against Australians, but I'm saying it's the industrial or kind of like the modern world that actually fucks you over because they have to, because they can't afford where they live, so they have to fuck you over. So I get there, it's not real, or at least it's closed down. And I go into a shop, some woman gives me a cable, she lets me charge my phone, gives me Wi-Fi, starts crying because she thinks that a local person fucked me over. And I was like, no, it's fine, it's a foreigner. She's still crying, she was like, it's an awful scenario. And then two guys come in, the grab bike guys, and they're like, hey, we'll drive you for free wherever you need to go. We'll get you to a great hotel. And they took me to this place called Kaya, K-A-I-A. If any of you are going to Bali, go and stay there. Best place I've ever stayed at in Bali, apart from obviously the houses we went to. And I was like, do you want some money? No, I just wanted to help you out, my friend. And I'm like, what? I'm like, this is crazy. So I've just used these three people And they've just given me everything for free. And he was like, here's my number, call me if you're not okay, and I'll come pick you up and take you to the next place. And they're going like this. And you're like, this is insane. Like, why is everybody so nice in every other part of the world? And I think I figured it out. Because it's the same here in Spain. As much as Spain is more like the UK and whatnot and is chasing after these places, you don't need as much. Me and the guys talk about this all the time, me and the members. We always say, it's refreshing being here because you can have a shit car. I mean, you guys have seen me rent Skodas because I just don't care. I'm like, is it cheap? It's £100 for like a week. You're like, oh, give me the Skoda. I mean, I don't give a fuck. And I'm driving around here. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what car you've got. People work service industry jobs and whatnot. Do they want more money? Of course, everyone does. But the thing is, they can get away with having less money because their lifestyle's still amazing. They still have the sun. They still have the beach. They still can just jump in a car and fuel's not that expensive. They drive to the beach with their family. Food's not expensive, so they make a little picnic. They sit on the beach. They have some food and they just talk and dive in the sea and have a great day and just come home. And then everyone's got a house that's bought and paid for. You know, one of your parents die and you just sell that house. You can buy your other one cash. It's like in the UK or America, your parents would die. The money you'd inherit gets taxed to bollocks. And then what you've got left doesn't even make a dent in putting a deposit down on a decent house. That's like when you come to these places, you go, they don't even need anything. Like they can literally buy like a fucking breadstick and just go to the beach and sit there and they've just chopped it up, put some ham in it, you know, whatever, some cheese, and they just sit there eating that and they're like, yeah, we're happy. Do you have water? And they're like, oh yeah, like water's cheap as well. They bought like a massive 4-litre thing, 5-litre thing, just pour it out in little cups for everybody. They just have like a real basic life. Like I mentioned this to my girlfriend the other day and she goes, funny you say that. I'm with my friends the other day in Morocco and she was like, and they get out the chairs, the foldable chairs. She was like, they just put them on the side of anywhere where they want to sit with a beautiful view. She said they just sit there and they just have like a nice little drink and a bit of food and we all just sat there having the time of our life. And I see the same when we're driving back from, we're driving to Budva actually, there's 2 scenarios. Driving to Budva and this taxi driver's driving us across and we got to get on this barge and this barge takes us across and whatnot. I see these giant fucking dudes, 3 Kosovan dudes, get talking to them, hands like shovels, like crushing my hands. And they were just the nicest guys ever. They were like, yeah, we have a window installing company and yeah, we just travel from place to place. Me and my 2 brothers, they had a nice Mercedes just driving around and I was like, oh my word, like these guys are so happy. And they were like, yeah, we don't really need a lot. It's like, we got an amazing life. Like, we're making good money for, like, the family and whatnot. We bring it back. Everyone's happy. And then on the way back, we just see these guys sat on that same river. And it was a beautiful day. The river's there, the mountain view, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. And they just popped the chairs out. And they were just sat there having a picnic, just having a little chat. And I was like, they are happier than I will ever be. It's the Tommy Shelby quote. You know, I have 3 gardeners, 3 generations of men with no ambition that are happier than I will ever be. It's different in the tier 3 cities. It's not that they have no ambition. It's that they don't have the same level of bills or pressures or, you know, you don't need, like you guys have never heard this before, you don't need a supercar. That sounds crazy. You don't need a supercar. Like you can have a very good life. I used to pick my girlfriend up when we were first dating in the Skodas and we used to laugh about it. I was like, get in, and she was like, another Skoda. I was like, yeah, but they're reliable. They get you from A to B. Then I got the Azora or whatever. It's an electric car. That was the best car I've ever driven. You know, it's nothing fancy, but it was great. I've driven some nice cars. I've had the Mercedes, the CLE with the roof down. I've had the BMW X2 here. Just gone through a few different cars. I've had the Range Rover here. Doesn't matter. Nobody really cares. I mean, Aiden will tell you, he just rented an expensive car, gave it back after a month, and he goes, it's pointless. I don't even need it. He was like, just does nothing for your life. It just gives you a bill. And I was like, this is what I'm saying. You know, whereas the thing is, you in a place like this, you can do it. You can afford it. It's brilliant. But I'm just saying, when you realize when you live in these places, you go, nobody cares. I don't actually need it. It's because the quality of life is so good, you don't need to buy all these expensive things to show off. Like, it puts it on a plate where you go, oh, now I can decide what I want. I'm actually in control of my life. I can actually be who I want to be, rather than being the guy who's in Miami, who has the expensive Ferrari, because if I don't, I can't get laid. That's terrible. That's like, the game is rigged, so like, forget that. Like, get that out. Oh, my apartment cost me 8k per month. And you're an idiot. Because you're doing 8k per month for hoes in a place where she's never going to be your wife, where it's just like, it's just pointless being there. Like, are the clubs in Miami better than anywhere else? No, like not even close to some of the ones on the beach in like Barcelona, for example. Like I don't think people understand until they get out and they travel and they go, actually, this is kind of shit. Like, I didn't realize how old my region of the world looked. When I'm driving through Budva and I'm like, why is everything so modern? Why are they building this and this and this? And in my old Born on a Budget videos, we said the same thing about Montenegro. Some of the houses they were building in the Bay of Kotor, some of the most modern, high-tech houses we've ever seen. It's the same now in Indonesia. Places like Jakarta has now, I think, got more millionaires than most parts of the world. People are realizing, people are waking up and moving to these tier 3 cities. I think this is the future, that Henry Girard lifestyle, where you live in these obscure places where, you know, when Jonah Hill says to him, I've always said the same, Vegas is a 2-3 day town. And he leans in and he says, I was talking about America. I think a lot of you are going to start realizing this moving forward. I think a lot of you are going to start realizing how different the world is now, how it's being flipped on its head, and how tier 3 cities are overtaking tier 1s as the future, because now you can work on a laptop in a cafe in Basici Beach in the rain with a fire pit next to you, which we've done. Me and Aiden did it. We literally were sat there. All the guys went to the Bay of Kotor. We're like, we'll catch up. We're just going to chill for a bit. And Jovan drove us down. He's a Serbian guy who told us about the Baltics as well. He said, when I made the first Born on a Budget video, he was like, this guy knows ball. Because people in these areas, they know it. They get it. He drove us down. And we sat there in the morning. We were just having a coffee and the waves are crashing in. It was a rainy, grey day. We were having a coffee. We were having some food. The guy's chatting to us. Everyone's hospitable. You know, you could get the fire out, sit there, be warm and stuff. And you're like, okay, this is crazy. You know, and even though I was in a relationship, like, you can acknowledge what's around you. And I was saying to Aiden, who was a single guy at the time, I was like, mate, if you lived here, there's beautiful women everywhere. I'm like, you could have the time of your life. When you see all of that, you're like, wow, okay. There's so many more opportunities. And to just be trapped in like the US or the UK or one area now, which was used to be the previous best place, and you have to live here. These tier 1 cities where you have to be here. All the opportunities are here. It's like, nobody even works from an office anymore. Everyone works from a laptop. You can be wherever you want to be. And that's nothing new. That's just the nomad lifestyle. You know, that's just digital nomads. That's nothing different. But it's the idea of the life setup around it. It's the idea of the quality of life that it gives you, the culture that it gives you, being the Henry Girard character who can speak multiple languages, who stays low key, who doesn't make a fuss, who doesn't want to be driving around in the loud Lamborghini and stuff because people can see that person. And it's more just, hey, I'm in Budapest in a Range Rover, blacked out, driving around low key, I have a nice life. And then I drive over to my next location in Zagreb. Then I drop down to Budva. Then I drop over to Vlor. Then I've got a beach house in Casamil. And then I just get on a plane and whatnot. It just flies me over to Crete. And I've just got a little place up there, and it's just kind of all in like Paros or something. And it's just kind of like a little place, and the local restaurant serves the best coffee and some of the best meat I've ever tasted. I just sit here, chill, work on my laptop, have a nice lifestyle. Yeah, but nobody knows you're rich. That's the mistake the Tates made. This is why everything went to shit. They were so happy in the early days in Bucharest living that lifestyle. They had the dream life. Those first 5 years, dream lifestyle. I don't like them, but they had the dream lifestyle. Whatever they were doing was working, it was clicking, they had the dream lifestyle. Then they got loud. Then they started baiting themselves. Then they went, we need to go more viral. We need to do the Dubai thing. We need to do the Miami thing. We need to like start going on these massive podcasts and becoming world famous. Slow it down. Slow it down. Maybe you don't. Maybe the fame, maybe the flex of money, maybe the look how rich I am, I'm a billionaire. Maybe that puts you on too many people's radars. Tier 3 cities, stay low key, have a nice life. Nobody needs to know who you are. Just, you know, you can do a lot more with less.
Do you understand now?